Warning. Warning. The following program depicts exercises which, depending upon your physical condition, may be hazardous to your health.
A woman has recently died from overeating in a mukbang livestream video. She collapsed in front of thousands of live viewers and died because her stomach ripped open from the large amounts of food she has consumed during the live stream. Pan Xiaoting, a 24-year-old who started out as a mukbang broadcaster as a side hustle, turned her interest into a full-fledged career when her viewership numbers increased. Despite warnings from her parents and viewers about the health risks, she continued with her extreme nutritional challenges.
You can't make this stuff up. It is unbelievable. And for those who find it shocking, I don't blame you. You may ask, what in the world could cause a person to eat so much, stuff their face, that they literally rip open their own stomach and die on live TV because they overate? If you ask that question, that would be a good question if I didn't have the answer for you. Look at this face. This lady represents the most popular new religion in America. And you may say, what is that religion? The religion of food worship. I should clarify, this is not the religion in the traditional sense. This is more like a cult. Stay with me as I break this down of how this is changing everything.
But it's simple, really. People just aren't going to church as much. On average, more than half of their churches today are baptizing fewer than one person a month, and 59% of them are spending more than they take in. And when you fast forward to the late 1940s, nearly 80% would tell you that they belong to a church, synagogue, mosque, or temple. Today, just 45% say the same, and only 32% say that they worship God in a house of prayer once a week.
So we know that religion has declined to a point where it's almost below 30% in the West. Huge drop. But those who understand energy knows that energy doesn't disappear. It transfers. So you can't go from 80% in the 1940s, which is not that far away in the time scale, to below 32% and declining. Where did that energy go? Well, it was transformed. New religious groups started in different ways, but they still fill a need in a society that is constantly bombarded by anxiety. And one of those religions are, of course, money.
Money is the new religion. Like, people are not as religious anymore. They're looking for their new messiah, and these tech people are as close to the money Jesus as they can get.
The next one is celebrity worship.
Celebrity worship in the West is absolutely mind-boggling. These people look at them like they're gods, man. There's no other way to put it. Like, celebrities consume people's lives, and it's much more of a problem on the women's side. Social media is now their new gossip echo chamber where they can't stop consuming.
But the biggest one of all, the one that they can't even touch, the one that's transforming America from the ground level up, very few are willing to talk about, is food worship.
You're gonna fry some chicken, you're gonna need some. You're gonna fry some fish, you're gonna need some. You're gonna fry some vegetables, you're gonna need some. You're gonna fry some bacon, you need some. No. You don't need no oil when you fry bacon, because what? Bacon has its own oil. I want you to look over at somebody and say, me like bacon.
Wow, I told you, you can't make this stuff up. This is reality. Be like bacon, baby. This may sound funny on the surface, but it's just a snippet of how serious this problem really is. But you have to understand, most of the biggest cult leaders were always looked at as somewhat of a joke until the devastation of what they did was realized, such as Jim Jones. This is a small snippet of a larger problem of the food worship and their indoctrination and obsession with food. Most people don't have an organized group like this. Most worship in the privacy of their home, fiending for whatever food they desire at the moment. It's worse than you can even imagine, because the numbers that I bring up later are going to devastate you. Now let's talk about the members of the food worshiping religion, or AKA more like a cult. They are a group of people from every social background and race. They have a fanatical belief system that their weight doesn't matter, and that obesity and its medical negative effects is a construct of man, and that they should be able to be as big as they want, live as they want, eat as much as they want, and be treated and have the same outcome as someone who lives a healthy lifestyle.
The fat acceptance movement, also known as fat pride, fat empowerment, and fat activism, is a social movement which seeks to eliminate the social stigma of fatness from social attitudes by pointing out the social obstacles which are faced by fat people to the general public. While many people in this group have determined and spread through social media that obesity is not as bad as we have always thought, or that science has proven, many have embraced the word fat and deemed the word obese to now be a slur. Many won't even say the word in their home.
Now, there are a few words that I don't allow when somebody comes into my house, and healthy is one of them.
This is truly telling, isn't it? Let me be upfront with you. Facts, reasoning, science, logic, they turned their backs on this long ago. This means nothing to them because they run purely on the energy of emotion and feelings and the chaotic energy that comes from. She easily said, don't say the word healthy as though it's normal. She even got on camera to millions to say this unreasonable, illogical statement. And she feels that she's right. That should tell you something truly frightening about the mindset of this belief. But she's not alone.
Breaking news, I can be this and this at the same time.
You get the best of both worlds.
Honestly, it's discrimination that they can't build wider aisles in airplanes 2023. This is what this model said when she struggled to walk on the airplane aisle because they were too narrow. People online are telling her, oh, it's your body, your responsibility. Oh, probably just lose some weight. And oh, you're...
I do agree that there is stigma that I have to deal with because I am fat, but I'm actually really in celebration of my body. I find beauty in diversity. I think we come in all shapes and sizes. And the assumption that we've dealt with a lot on this show is that just because you're obese, you must overeat. You must have an eating disorder. I know that not to be the case.
You see, they all worship at the same altar. They don't need to wear a uniform or go to a unified church because they all believe in the same dogmatic way of thinking. Protect their food consumption at all costs. Shirk responsibility for maintaining what is considered a healthy lifestyle. Consume whatever I want, and no one is going to stop me. This is the rebellious nature of what the food worship movement is. And it is affecting everyone in America. This brings us to the next section of this problem. What's the cost they have to pay?
Don't sugarcoat it, Doc. Just give it to me straight.
Well, Mr. Swanson, I did an exploratory procedure which revealed extensive damage.
When I wake up in the morning, my first thoughts are a combination of disgust at how my life is now and shock that I was even able to make it to another day. Because every minute of it is a struggle now, from the first moment to the last. And my weight makes it so hard for me to breathe. I have to use oxygen a lot of times just to get the air my body needs. Because I can't even get out of bed on my own. That's how bad off my body is now.
This is the outcome. It's not shocking at all, is it? Reality has accountability for those who abuse it. She thought, and she fell into the trap. She got indoctrinated by the false belief that her actions, what she eats, how she lives, have no consequences. She's not infected by some sort of overweight virus, but her mind is. She's indoctrinated by this belief that this is empowering to her. Well, at least she was. She's not alone. This is the outcome of most of the members that believe in the food worship movement, as though it's empowering to be whatever weight you want to be or eat whatever you want.
Just because I'm fat, that doesn't invalidate the things that I say.
She died.
You ready to get supersized?
She died too.
Today I've got the big Fruit Loop.
He's dead.
Join me on my Fat Positive radio show,
which didn't last long because she died.
Let's start. If you ever go down the weird lane of fat talk on TikTok, you will find there are many very young fat talkers who are dancing around expressing how obesity has not hindered their life at all and they can do anything a skinny girl can do. And why is that? Because the older ones are either hurting and can't get up or dead. Because as you age and stay obese, the issues you will have come on pretty hard and thick.
Their road always leads to where this lady's at. Either the ER or the morgue. These self-evident truths can't be avoided, no matter what.
Everybody's happy down here. You can
for Jim Jones.
How do you account for such an avid following? I'm dedicated to my people.
We need to develop our own system.
There's not a day that goes by that you don't think of some parts of it.
My dad became cruel. We became numb to it.
Blasphemy to talk about going back. There's no way out. If we can't live in peace, then let's die in peace.
900 people died that day in Jonestown. These people allowed this man into their minds, to play with their hopes and dreams, to use their anxiety, and it allowed him to puppeteer them, to believing in falsehoods, that if they drink the tainted Kool-Aid, they will be empowered. They can change the world. Well, we know what the reality of it was. The bodies that laid on the ground, the smell, didn't work out like they thought because it was snake oil that he sold them. This is the same tactic that the food worshiping movement pushes.
Let me just read a little bit of their philosophy. The NAAFA have contested society's stubborn generalization that associates fatness with disease and poor health outcomes, and push back against the assumption that fat people have little regard for themselves or their own well-being. They argue that thinking about obesity as a disease or medical risk, such as having severe effects from COVID-19, contributes to the stigma because it positions larger bodies as drains on an already taxed healthcare system. To sum that up, they don't like that the numbers show, factual numbers by the way, show that being obese causes taxpayers more money. They also do not like that fatness or obesity is connected to disease and poor health because it makes them feel bad.
This brainwash is almost totally complete. Their members are dying as they swallow this belief of all you can eat without consequences. It makes Jonestown Massacre look like a picnic as they die slower from a different type of overeating poison. The members that are indoctrinated with this belief become zealot defenders of the food-worshipping doctrine, going to war against all opposers, even facts itself. They try to come up to you and convince you of their fat righteousness through gossip, blogs, news, articles. And those who don't acquiesce are considered enemies. But the fact is, it's their own bodies that are condemning them as being the real villains of this story. As we saw with this lady here. This falsehood is now being taught to younger generations, children. Like this lady says, I don't want to hear the word healthy. Can you imagine her child growing up healthy when the word itself is banned? Game over. You lose. Those who want to maintain a healthy lifestyle, forget it. You already lost the game. How can I say this? Look at this article here. By the year 2050, 80% of Americans will be overweight and obese. The children of this belief system will suffer the same fate. They will be 57% of all children are guaranteed to be overweight and obese. Keep in mind, today, over 75% of all Americans are overweight or obese. This is not some distant future. There's a statement that goes, might makes right. Soon, just like this lady wants to edit anybody who comes into her house because it offends her, the facts on obesity and the horrors it causes will be watered down. Psychology will bend the knee to talking about this. Doctors will have to edit themselves. And the people who want to maintain a healthy lifestyle are now the minority. You will have to make sure you control your language, that it doesn't offend now the majority. Welcome to the Blubber Utopia.